I feel like our girls have grown up, है ना, over the years with audience has seen them. तो अब उनके decisions अभी भी messy हैं, अभी भी interesting हैं and instinctive हैं, पर थोड़ी और maturity आ गई है. I love it that there are times when we can make the men also feel uncomfortable because we've taken it for years on male film sets, okay?
Especially in comedy shows, whether it's sitcoms or whatever it is, sometimes they pick up in the third, fourth season and then people start watching it from the first. When you are a comic, then to be a serial killer is, then people start laughing. Like it's like, it's like, nah, I can't watch this guy.
I would love to see you as a serial killer.
Is this something that you would do? This is like completely in a very mainstream popular space. And my response was, why ever not?
We sat in a room and there was no intimacy coordinators when we started the show.
It's much better in advertising. The number of female directors at least. But DOPs are less in the country itself, you know.
Hi guys, welcome to Screen.
Hi.
So we're here to talk about 4 more shots, please. The final season? Is it really the final season?
We will have to say yes.
Oh no. But why do you think? Because what I really love about the show is that there are some loose ends and those are not really tied up neatly and done and delivered. They just let them be and they just let the girls be. And now there's this sense of ending. So how did you approach that sense of ending?
Does life close all loops? No, right? So I feel even if it's the end of a season, it will not close all the open endings because that is the feeling of life. Having said that, ek end of era feels hai for us who are making it, for the cast who's been acting in it. Even while we knew it's the last season, even while we were shooting it. There is, I feel like our girls have grown up, है ना, over the years with audience has seen them. तो अब उनके decisions अभी भी messy हैं, अभी भी interesting हैं and instinctive हैं, पर थोड़ी और maturity आ गई है. And I feel like towards the end, एक कहीं तो एक sense of happiness and joy मिलता है उनको, and even if all the loops are not neatly tied.
Anything you like to add?
I think Arunima ने इस मामले में बोल दिया है कि मतलब it is the growth of these girls that we've seen through the seasons, and they're at a good point in their lives when we leave the show. And but it's who knows? We shouldn't say it's the end. We don't know what it will lead to.
That's what Prime has been doing. Go the Mirzapur way. Do a film. I mean, I'm sure it will bring a lot of
so never
bums
say
on
it's the
seats.
end.
Rajeev, I want to ask you, since you've been associated with 4 More Shots, please, for a couple of seasons, and I just want to, I've been asking it to all the men who've been a part of the show that, does it make you a better man?
Say yes, say yes.
No, but yes, that's I mean, it's obvious. And season 1, season 2, and season 3, I was a tourist because I would always, come to the exotic locations. And, in this season, fortunately, I mean, my character has come a full circle and the relationship with Siddhi as well. And yes, it has made me a better person and a better human. And the maturity as a human being that I've gone through, being part of the past 3 seasons, I think it also reflects in the way the character has been performed and also written. So, they have merged really well for me.
Which is I have to come back to the directors again. So Shayoni told me that all the men in the show are very nice and better than most men out there. And I think that was a conscious attempt because it is, you're very manifesting for the men we want to see in the world. Was that the idea behind having this mission?
But it's also Dino, who's one of the greenest green flags, and plus his hotness. So see, the women are ruling this series, right? It's like the most matriarchal series or set that I have been a part of. Like even the crew is mostly led by women, And I love it that there are times when we can make the men also feel uncomfortable because we've taken it for years on male film sets, okay? So I love it that they feel less empowered, and it's good, you know, like I'm not complaining at all, and that's talking about the
Why would you complain? But even we're not complaining either.
yeah, you know, they also wanted to be like, no, I'm not going there, but what was the question?
Yeah, men of our
Yeah,
manifestation.
but yes, we need to manifest these men, the stable kinds. And I feel like even Jay's character, Prateek's, like the Damini Prateek story, it's gone through life like a, you know, in waves. And it's very interesting what happens in this season. The kashish of unrequited love and all the things that make us watch rom-coms, and even the idea that a marriage is never the happy ending. उसके बाद एक नया chapter शुरू होता है, and there are always conflicts. Like there's no conflict-free life, and that is again a very interesting plot. So yeah, the men are being manifested, but of course they are not perfect because perfection is boring.
Yeah. I've seen the trailer. Speaking of happy endings, we see that Siddhi jokes about there's none in her life. But taking it from there, that how does it feel to be a man on this show where, you know, or a character, as from a character point of view, that that you've been very patient, so has been Jay.
Yes.
But मतलब ऐसा हो रहा है कि मतलब कुछ ज़्यादा खुला छोड़ दिया क्या?
खुला छोड़ दिया मैंने?
Means is the relationship too?
Yeah.
Is it too free or too?
No, no.
Have you given your women too much freedom is what you
Yeah, as a character in the show, because that's where the conflict is. So, which is why I'm asking you the
It's not
question.
about freedom. I think it is their
That you've been so patient with them, but
they're
has
evolved men who are letting the women be.
Giving them the space to
Space
be.
to exist.
Just like how you should
But
give.
I don't think the women need this space ka permission from the men.
No,
Right.
it's not about permission. It's not about permission.
Right.
But you just give everybody space to be.
Yeah.
And never force your things on them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
But I think the issue there is that as a husband, your wife is on the stage and talking about something very private.
Exactly.
So-
and that's why that's the conflict
That's the
between
conflict,
us, right?
yeah.
And that is addressed in the show.
And it's a very interesting conflict
Yeah.
because दोनों तरफ से सही है. अगर if it's your profession and say you're writing a book or writing a script about your personal life, so it's as an artist you're right in a way, but जिसके बारे में है and it's so direct, that person will also feel bad. So it's a very interesting conflict where they say ना एक argument ऐसा लिखो जहाँ दोनों right हो, then it's fun to watch.
Which is what, so Rani Mukherjee is writing her memoir, and she said that it's very tricky because my husband is very private.
Yeah, I don't know what she's going to write. Is it going to be a blank book?
But she said that now he's just signed up for this and now there's no stepping back. So there will be some part of it, but as a writer, as a wife, I will be conscious of where to draw that line. So,
Please not.
yeah.
In the beginning of the series,
beginning, no.
she's not conscious of that line. She can't see that line.
Yeah.
Do you feel as artists that, I don't know whether it comes to your personal lives or just how to navigate society, that as an artist you don't want to draw that line? As an artist you want to be absolute and do whatever you want, but there are some restrictions that hold you back. Have you ever felt that, any of you, from this end to that?
Not very specifically yet, at least, I think. And yes, it is tempting to be completely unbridled and go for it, but that's just not realistic enough often, because we also live real lives with real people. So I think it's a bit of a mix of everything, kind of to figure out and test what the exact rhythm should be.
I feel like in the current times, a lot of the industry is a little on the back foot. It's also film, it's also OTT. we all are talking about it not being a very good time since a few years. And when people are on the back foot, I feel like they stop taking risks and telling stories that might not be very mass. So I feel like creatively, and how can you also blame them, right? They are running a business. So as a director, I can speak for myself that I would love it for those times to come back, the beginning of OTT, or maybe 10-15 years ago where films were and the kind of films that had started doing well. It would be great for even the smaller stories and the more niche stories. Like I won a national award for my short film in FTII. That's where I began, and it's like, as you can see, the journey. And for me, I don't judge any kind of from like being an associate director on Cocktail with Homi Adajania to my national award to former shorts. I do a lot of different stuff, you know. So for me, an artist should have the freedom to do all of it, and right now it's literally become so difficult for new writers, directors, or even established ones to do even something that's slightly risky.
Slightly off beaten path.
Yeah,
people
it's
are
become very tough.
very to tread that path.
Yeah.
And that's more of the path treading actually, because in the, what your question started with, in the personal space, I think there's a lot more give. Because if it's about like being hurtful towards people, friends, people in your life, but it's this other space which is actually
It's more
the more
political
frightening
than
space.
personal.
Yeah.
Okay. Kunal, I was talking to Rohan Sippi, whom you work with extensively.
Yeah.
And he told me that I'm very sad that there's very little space for comedy on streaming today, because it's a lot of thrillers, a lot of crime. He is also doing a few of those.
Right.
So do you also feel that? Because I just loved whatever you guys have done together. And do you want to see more comedy, and comedy of your, say, your brand?
Well, yeah, because that means I get more work. Yeah, for sure. I just think that comedy is something that, firstly, it needs time to evolve, even with an audience. I think it needs a little space to breathe for characters, especially in comedy shows, whether it's sitcoms or whatever it is. Sometimes they pick up in the third, fourth season, and then people start watching it from the first. So it needs a little space to become part of conversations of pop culture. People start, people start referring to characters, but it takes time to really seep in. That's one thing. And the second is, it's very difficult to actually write comedy. And comedy, sometimes when you're doing something that's very specific, because the comedy genre is so vast that the tone, sometimes it's not exact. Like, you don't go with a very mass tone, then it becomes more niche in that sense. So it depends what you're putting out there, how accepted it gets, and it's just a very difficult genre to write and execute. It is the toughest of all. I mean, for me, there's nothing that's harder than comedy. Because, I mean, with drama and crime and all, it's a little horror. I mean, these are difficult things, but comedy, that's why some of the biggest stars in the world are comedians, right? Because it's just tough.
They're the finest actors actually.
Some of them, some of them are pretty good. But the sad thing is that then it's very difficult to see them in any other light.
Yeah.
So you've almost committed yourself to comedy. You know, when you are a comic, then to be a serial killer is, then people start laughing. Like, it's like, it's like, nah, I can't watch this guy.
I would love to see you as a serial
To our
killer.
show,
Yeah, right.
he has the lightness of being, and he's whether it's with a little bit of physical comedy or like just easing Damini out, his character's done like a fab job in the show.
Like as
Bringing
an
the
actor,
little-
he
yeah.
leaves space for going and following your instinct in the moment, that improvisation, or just letting your mind, body be so loose and ready and free. Even in a scripted scene, of course, there's so much that he does, and unexpected pauses, expressions. There's something, like, I really feel he has that pulse of comedy, and maybe it comes from his real life good sense of humor.
Thank you.
But as much as you're grateful for the comedy parts, do you feel slotted or restricted as an actor?
I don't mind being. The thing
Yeah.
is that I just want to act more, you know. So if people are happy to cast me in comic roles, I'm more than happy to do it. I think the opportunity to act is something very, very, I mean, it's a privilege in itself, and to make a living of it, you know. And if I can spend my whole life doing comedy, I'll be more than happy doing it, as long as I get to do it.
But Kunaal, in
No,
this
but you do
particular, in this series,
He's
you have
not
a
only the
warm
comic.
Yeah.
and a
No,
emotional part.
I know, but I love doing that. I love exploring other stuff and doing other things.
Vulnerable eyes scene. When we were editing it also, we were like, इसकी आँख में एक vulnerability है. एक है scene, देखना.
But it's, you know, I just feel that that the opportunity is greater, and sometimes when you occupy a certain sort of image in people's head, it's fine if that's, you know, the space that you occupy. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do stuff, and I think that in this show,
In this
it
show, I
gives me
think
the
it's given-
opportunity,
yes, he
and that's
has
why I was so
emotional
attracted
scenes.
to it. Is that it's not just comic relief, you know, and I'm often used as that comic relief, but I think that both of them used me in such a way where it wasn't just like, okay, now let's make us laugh. It was,
There are
it
two very
had,
intense scenes that he has actually.
yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. So that's also the reason why I was so attracted to doing this, because it, again, you know, it widens your scope, like you were saying earlier. It just widens the possibilities, and as long as people start seeing you in different ways, even if it's a little move forward, now it's a lot.
I haven't watched the show yet, but I'm hoping that you play a guy who doesn't sleep with any of the 4 girls.
Why?
Who's to say?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
That's his
Why?
person, he's a fan.
No,
he's a fan
because
folk.
no, because I want to see someone not sleep with anyone, and just be a female ally without any vested interests.
But he's definitely
Oh.
an ally. That
Yeah.
much we can say.
And he,
sibling rivalry, यार उससे interesting क्या होती है? बचपन की भाई बहन की जो rivalry है, seeing दामिनी जो इतनी strong career woman है, and she has all these interesting relationships suddenly with her brother, like it's almost like children again. So nice. It was in this when I read the script, I was like, wow, this track really grounds Damini. Sometimes जो criticism आता है कि these girls are where are their roots? This character and this plot.
Yeah, because
roots
we've
her.
often had that complaint
Yeah.
as journalists
So
that
wo ho gaya
where does she come from? How
Yeah.
does she have that house in Sobo? We don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we really need a backstory. I'm sure you will do something about that. But speaking of siblings, does that also that I don't know that female ally energy also comes from your siblings? Because I can see all of them in this show because they're all such great champions of women in real life. Would you agree?
I don't know. I don't know about that. We're just getting, you know, we're just living our lives. I don't know about that at all.
Yeah.
But coming back to what you said,
Yeah.
barring the physical relationships that they have, they're all allies in the truest sense.
They are.
Each
Yeah.
of the men in the show are
They've been
allies.
waiting
Yeah.
and patiently and
So,
getting by.
Waiting is not the
because
only
allyship.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah, also not, there is no judgment.
yeah,
Yeah.
and holding
So-
space for the women.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
I think they're allies in the truest sense.
Yeah. But since we are talking about comedy and how it doesn't really get its due, that's also the case, I think, with the global awards circuit. You've been, obviously, you made history at Cannes and won the Best Actress award. You being a part of the show, I think, gives even more like a different kind of legitimacy, validation to that. Although it's an Emmy-nominated show, so
Yes.
doesn't need any validation. But what was your when they approached you? Were you surprised? Were you
I was a
excited?
little bit surprised, and I remember when I was approached, even the approaching was a little bit kind of tentative from casting end, that is this something that you would do? This is like completely in a very mainstream popular space. And my response was, why ever not? Of course, as actors, you just kind of want to be as diverse as possible. That's the best it can go. You know, each character that you take on, so that's the dream, that it, you know, shouldn't be similar in any shape or form. And and after Shameless and this, it is just that itself is extremely exciting for me. And so I think it legitimizes kind of the opposite of what you said. It legitimizes my space or my scope as an artist for myself, the way I can perceive it a little bit more, and kind of gives me the courage to and confidence to feel like, yeah, this is also something that I can do.
Yeah.
We were very excited. Like when we were approaching her for this role, we were like, we wish she says yes. And till the yes came, and I was like, wow, she has agreed. Like we were very excited.
Yeah. You play a very empowered queer character. I think more.
Where? Here?
Here.
Okay.
Here, in this one. Probably more than Umang, who's Bani's character, who's still a little bit in the closet. So.
No, Bani is
She's not in the closet.
Not in the closet.
But what you're saying
A little bit.
She's a
yeah,
bit more
true,
evolved.
she is more empowered in a
Yeah.
sense because she's probably experienced.
Yeah, which is why I want to
Yeah,
ask that. What was the part of that prep? Did you interact with a lot of queer people? How was that like? Just
So
cracking
there's, I
that
mean,
part.
there's queer people in my life anyway.
Yeah.
Thankfully, in the last, like we were talking about it earlier, that in the last 15 years, 20 years, the world is looking a little bit different vis-a-vis inclusivity and representation. So there are actually real life references or friendships, real friendships that I do have that I can borrow from. And there's, of course, there is a research and homework of going a little bit deeper and like reading about people. These are not. It's not a kind of a tokenism. These are real people. These are real women. These are real stories. Happens all the time. And I think a part of my prep was also to see, because I come in only now, but Umang has been there the whole time. So how her journey has progressed, and then I saw it like I am someone, my character is someone that she lands with. So she journeys through the 3 seasons and comes to the self-acceptance in whatever way that she has. And I understood my character to have also had a journey, maybe differently, but I'm already there.
Yeah.
So
She's also playing a literal green flag in the show.
think of that while picking the dress, but yeah.
Yeah. Finally, just to wrap this up and take you all on a little journey from season 1 till season 4. When I watched the first season and I reviewed it, I felt so excited that there's a female DOP because that completely changes the gaze.
Yeah.
So, yeah, literally. And so, just talk to me a little bit about that. Like, were there conversations about how do you really depict something? How do you really capture something on set? Or did that come very naturally?
See, before I did FOMO Shots Please, I had short feature films and all where we had intimate scenes, but it was you get into a scene and you get out. And when we were doing season 1, every episode had 2 intimate scenes. It was a new zone for all of us. We did a lot of referencing. We spent a lot of time together, the creators, the director at that point, Anu, Rongita, Ishita, and with the actors, we sat in a room, and there was no intimacy coordinators when we started the show. So we sat, we saw, we discussed what they were comfortable with, what they weren't comfortable with. We would keep a minimum crew on set. There was, we would. I don't know if it. I don't honestly believe in male and female gaze being different. There can be a man with a female gaze and shoot women appropriately. So I think that naturally comes to me. We just dealt with it very delicately, yet not treating it like kuch hua hai. It is people have sex, and we shot it like the most appropriate way that it was possible.
But I just want to add to this. It is great having a female DOP because often even on an all-female set, the DOP is male. हाँ कि PD ये सब ठीक है पर DOP male ले लेते हैं, you know. So then that kind of tokenism doesn't exist. In PNC, the women, Rongita, Ishita rule PNC with like flair and with a lot of confidence in women. And I disagree with Neha कि female और male gaze नहीं होता है. मेरे हिसाब से just by being born and lived and raised, everything. Like if you identify as a woman, there is something that is inherent in the way you see things, and it will be a little different from the way a man
when
does.
I said that, what I mean is way before women DPs came in, there were men who were shooting women beautifully. And
absolutely.
with utmost respect.
Correct, but what
So-
I'm talking about is the creative. It could also, the gaze is also the writers, directors,
Absolutely,
DOPs, you know. Like how do you see a scene, how do you direct a scene, and very often we see it, we women see it from the woman's point of view. So I feel there is a substantial difference, and that is why women telling women's stories is important, and we will continue talking about it. Like, you know, it's not something that has been achieved yet, right? If you see the ratio of women directors, women DOPs, women HODs in general, it's still very low. And statistically, it shows ki if the woman is helming the project, is the director, then more women HODs get hired. You know, otherwise there are so many still very, very highly male sets, and sometimes only some assistants are women, but HODs are the ones that really matter. So I think with female gaze bringing its own kind of lived experience to the screen, there is something about female directors, DOPs, writers that feels different. Okay, so and we love our male directors, so it's not a male female competition. दोनों का space होना चाहिए, and we all know कि females का space अभी भी कम है. I'm an advertising director too, and it's much better in advertising, the number of female directors at least, but DOPs are less in the country itself, you know. So yeah, let's just have more women telling women's stories.
Yeah, agreed. And I get what you say, because I had talked to Homie it was a few years ago, and I think by the time Ji Karda had come out, and he told me that you know, because of women like you and Anayata, is because he's receptive to that energy, is why he's been able to portray his women so well on screen.
Yeah, but Homie is another like great example.
He's a
like,
man with a female gaze.
Yes, with at least a female heart, again an ally. Okay, one of those directors who never for one moment tried to suppress me. You know, I was his associate director, he gave me wings, and so and बहुत बार होता है, the directors don't even give credit to the assistant director for an idea or anything. He used to like put me first, so that really gave me confidence in a time when I was beginning in the industry.
Yeah, I can see him in acting in this show.
Absolutely, he'd fit in beautifully.
Yes, we want him in the film.
Okay, film. Yeah. On that promise, thank you so much.
Thank you.